Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and today we have a pretty interesting subject for a top 10 LEGO video, where we'll be counting down the top 10 rarest LEGO pieces that exist. Now, in making this video, I knew I had to put some guidelines on here, otherwise this would all be individual minifigure parts or Bionicle masks or animals. So what I've done is I've placed a restriction on when I talk about the rarest LEGO pieces. This will not be including any minifigure pieces, it won't be including any Bionicle masks, or any animals. So basically, we're just going to be taking a look at the rarest individual pieces that we have seen from standard LEGO sets. Be it all sorts of different unique elements that we get in Technic stuff or LEGO system elements. There's a lot of really surprising pieces on this list, and while doing the research for it, I honestly was surprised with many of the choices because I did not expect certain elements to be this rare. And one final restriction being that no electronic pieces are factored into this list. The reason for that is because, well, if you take a look at a single LEGO Mindstorms command hub or a single Power Functions motor, those can get really expensive, but not necessarily for the right reasons. So we're gonna remove all of the motors and smart hub electronic pieces and just be taking a look at standard LEGO pieces, with one very small exception in the form of a sound brick. So place your guesses now as to what that is. But without further ado, let's jump in to number 10 on the list. Okay, so let's start off with number 10 on our rarest LEGO pieces countdown. At number 10, we have part ID 24248, windscreen 6x8x3 with 6 studs on top. This is an exclusive windscreen element that only appeared in one single set. Set number 75144, UCS Snowspeeder, the second edition from 2017. On Bricklink, you can get this single piece for around $60 to $70, and well, it's pretty obvious to see why this piece in particular is so rare. For anybody wanting to recreate the UCS Snowspeeder with their own pieces, you literally cannot capture the shape without this exclusive windscreen piece. Now, LEGO does a lot of exclusive windscreen pieces for their creator expert cars, for the Icons vehicles, and occasionally for Star Wars ships as well when you really need a special type of curvature. But since the Snowspeeder is a pretty ubiquitous vehicle, it's obviously a very popular one for folks to rebuild, this has made its way onto the list. But moving on, we can take a look at number 9. And at number 9, we have 44570, hinge plate 3x4 locking dual 2 fingers in the old version of transparent brown. Now, due to some crazy coincidence, this also is from a Snowspeeder set, not the same one though. That's from 10129 Rebel Snowspeeder UCS edition from 2003, and it retails for around $60 to $80 on Bricklink. Now, why exactly is this piece so rare? Well, obviously this is a fairly common piece that has come in a ton of different colors, but there's two reasons why this one is extremely rare, one of which is obviously you need it to complete that UCS Snowspeeder. Personally, I would argue that this piece doesn't really matter that much. In the grand scheme of things, you can build the entire Snowspeeder and you could probably get away with making this one piece white, but if you do want that full-on movie accuracy, there is a transparent window on the top of the Snowspeeder glass that does require this, but even more importantly, there's a reason why LEGO doesn't really mold these click hinge pieces in transparent, and well, that's because they tend to break really easily. In fact, my own copy of this is snapped, which you can kind of see in the videos, so this piece is something that not only does only come in one set, it's a UCS set, making it harder to obtain, but it also breaks easily, making it really hard to actually get a copy that's in good condition, all factors that add towards its rarity. Altogether, it's also just really cool to get a transparent piece that is just kind of a standard LEGO piece, not super specialized like a windscreen, because that obviously has a lot of useful applications in other LEGO things. Moving on from that though, we have a set from another LEGO Star Wars UCS model. This is part number 16477, windscreen 16x8x6 curved with 3 pinholes in trans clear. Now this actually came in 2 sets. In one set it came in trans purple for 70828 pop-up party bus from the LEGO Movie 2 in 2018, and obviously the trans purple version of the part is a lot less rare, even though I think trans purple is objectively just a cooler color to get in general. But the really rare version of the windscreen is in 75060 Slave 1 UCS edition from 2016. Yes, this is another super specialized curved windscreen made specifically for a UCS Lego Star Wars set, and that's why it goes for around $70 to $80 for just one single piece in that set. Where if you want to build the UCS Slave 1 mock or the actual UCS Slave 1 set, no matter what version of the Slave 1 you're building, you basically need this piece, and since we haven't really gotten another newer UCS Slave 1 since then, this will probably remain exclusive to the set for a long time, if not forever. But as we move into number 7, we actually break away from Lego Star Wars and take a look at a Lego architecture set. Now, this piece number 162 PB105, is the tile 1x8 with Marina Bay Sands pattern. And it came in the exclusive, the Singapore exclusive, set number 21021 Marina Bay Sands from 2014. So what's the deal with this? Well, the Marina Bay Sands architecture set was a set that released only in Singapore. And not only that, you could only commonly get it if you visited Marina Bay Sands yourself and got the actual architecture model from the building itself. Because of that, the only exclusive element featured in that entire set was this single 1x8 tile that said Marina Bay Sands, and you can get it for around $80 to $90 on Bricklink right now for a single piece. Now, I have a pretty funny story about this myself because I technically don't really own this set. In 2014, I was visiting Singapore and I wasn't really a big architecture fan or collector back then. So I literally had the chance to go to Marina Bay Sands and get the set, but I was pretty jet lagged and I was like, you know what? It's not really that interesting of a set. I don't really care about it, whatever. And I literally passed up the chance to get this exclusive set when I was in Singapore in 2014. And that decision has haunted me to this day because it is nearly impossible to find the set nowadays. If you want to buy this single tile, it is so expensive. And because of that, I went and bought the pieces from Pick-a-Brick online. I literally recreated the entire set, but missing that one piece. Now we have gotten a Singapore Skyline set recently, and they completely refurbished the model. It looks a lot better. It's using more interesting building techniques. So now I have even less motivation to go back and get the official copy of that original set. Maybe one day I'm going to own this piece, but as of right now, this is actually one that is missing from my collection at the time of recording this. But moving on from that, we can take a look at number 6, and we return to the Star Wars universe with part ID 50990 APB03. What a mouthful of a part ID that is. This is dish 10x10 inverted radar, hollow studs with radiating spokes pattern on concave side. Of course, this only came in one set number 10179 UCS Millennium Falcon from 2006. And this barely edges out the last piece, coming in at $90 to $100 US. Obviously, there's not a ton that I really need to explain as to why this piece is so rare. It is one of the few remaining exclusive pieces from the original version of the UCS Millennium Falcon, whereas the newer version introduced a brand new version of this dish with a newer style of print, as well as kind of brought back all of the rare and exclusive pieces of that original set, like the light gray pirate ship rigging. This has still remained exclusive and will always be exclusive to that 2006 set. So if you specifically want the older version of the UCS Millennium Falcon, well, you gotta shell out almost $100 for this one part. And moving on from that, we have a pretty Star Wars heavy next few selections, but don't worry because things get a lot more interesting in my opinion as we get into the top 3. But coming in at number 5, we have 44375 APB03, another dish 6x6 inverted radar, hollow studs with Star Wars TIE Advanced hatch pattern. This only came in set number 10175 Vader's TIE Advanced UCS edition from 2006, and this goes for $95 to $110 on Bricklink. So this one, in my opinion, is a little silly because you can get this exact dish with this exact print, just slightly modified, in a ton of other sets, a ton of other TIE Fighter sets, some other Star Wars sets. You could get a very similar style of print and arguably even better because it doesn't have the studs on top, with a slightly newer dish element that they made for some of the newer Star Wars spaceships, and it's also 6x6. Literally the only reason to get this is if you want that 100% complete UCS Vader's TIE Advanced from 2006. And well, if you're a diehard collector, you gotta have this piece. Now, I do understand it because the set is technically not complete without it, but this is just another instance of an exclusive LEGO Star Wars piece being locked behind an older UCS model, and now it's just pretty much unattainable. And I have to wonder, for other modern UCS sets like the Landspeeder windscreen or some other modern stuff that we get in the latest UCS sets, are those parts going to become as exclusive as these 10 years or 20 years in the future? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Moving on from that though, onto number 4, we have 2598 PB01 windscreen 10x10x4 canopy octagonal, say that 10 times fast, with TIE Advanced pattern. This retails for around $100 to $120 on Bricklink, and you can only find it also in literally the same set as the last piece, 10175 Vader's TIE Advanced UCS edition from 2006. Now I'm going to let you in on a secret. My copy of the set doesn't actually have the right piece, and here's the deal. You see, they actually made an exact copy of this piece, but with dark gray printing for the TIE Interceptor, one of the very first UCS sets. And well, when I bought my own copy of the UCS TIE Advanced, I was offered it at a steep discount because it didn't actually have the right cockpit piece. And so to this day, the UCS TIE Advanced in my collection doesn't have this piece. I actually just realized this and remembered this while I was recording this video, and I'll probably go back and get it on Bricklink, like probably now, because I do want it to complete the set. But yeah, this is actually something I don't even have in my collection, so there you have it. Another thing missing from the Duck Bricks vault. But yeah, it's a really expensive piece, and I just can't bring myself to spend $100 to $120 on a single Lego piece, at least right now, but we'll have to wait and see if that changes in the future. But moving on to number 3, we have quite an interesting one because technically this is a Bionicle piece, but since it's not a Bionicle mask or collectible, I decided to include it on the list because it actually has very little to do with Bionicle itself. This is part ID 54821 PB02 Ball Bionicle Zammersphere with marbled trans yellow pattern, Palantir. Now obviously by that name, you know this could only come in one set, and that is set number 10237, the Tower of Orthanc in 2013. Yes, this piece was made to represent Saruman's Palantir, which he used to spy on the hobbits as they were going to Isengard and trying to reach Mordor and trying to find the One Ring, and also used it to communicate with Sauron. And it's really cool how they actually took the Bionicle Zammersphere element and recolored it in an exclusive color for this set. It's a really interesting coloration of the piece. It has great applications for LEGO Lord of the Rings usages, and you can only get it in the elusive Tower of Orthanc, meaning this piece goes for up to $150 US on Bricklink. Super expensive for a single piece, and obviously this is the kind of piece that gets lost super easily as well. This can roll around, it can kind of get lost under couches or roll underneath tables. So unless you're really careful with this piece, it's really easy to lose, which is why it is extra rare and hard to find. Moving on from that though into number 2, we have part ID 55206C04 electric sound brick 2x4x2 with light bluish gray top and carousel sound. Now, I did say I wasn't going to include any electronic pieces in this list, so no Mindstorms parts, no motors, but I do feel like this is a bit of an exception because I don't really count this as a super heavy-duty electronic piece. Like, obviously you have the Black NXT, which is a collectible thing, and that's its own thing that didn't really belong on this list because it wasn't ever available standard retail. And I mean, you could go out and buy a piece from LEGO today that is super electronics or has a really heavy-duty motor in it that probably costs you like $100 or $120, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's rare. It just means it's expensive, and expensive is very different than rare. And well, this piece, yes, it is electronic, but it is also very, very rare because it only came in set number 10196, the Grand Carousel from 2009, meaning that this single piece that plays a sound can go for up to $300 US. That is right, it's around $200 to $300 for this one sound brick, and well, you need it to complete the Grand Carousel. I got my copy of the Grand Carousel in 2009 when it released. It was actually one of my first Lego sets that I put together myself. And I have a lot of fond memories of playing with this model, of hearing it go round and round. And obviously that's a very iconic sound that it makes, which is why this is so rare and is part of a really, really nice set as well. But finally, before we move into number 1, I actually do have an honorable mention here. And the reason for this piece is technically part of an event exclusive, so I wasn't really sure if it was fair to include it on this list of somewhat retail exclusive sets, but this is so rare and so strange that I figured I had to mention it. Honorable mention goes to 98281 Wedge 6x4 by 2/3 quad curved in green, which only came in one set, ComCon 047, Action Comics #1 Superman, San Diego Comic-Con 2015 exclusive. So here's the deal about this part. This recreates the iconic Action Comics #1, which introduced Superman holding up the green car, and on that green car, there was this piece used for the roof of the car. Well, here's the thing. This piece has never appeared in any other Lego set since. They could have easily done it, but they didn't. And because of that, as far as I can tell, literally nobody has ever sold this piece, at least according to Bricklink's price guide, individually. Maybe in the past there could have been a deal that was wiped off of Bricklink because they purged their data after a few months, or maybe someone just sold it to another collector, but there's no public sales data for this one piece, making it extremely hard to figure out how to actually price this. Obviously, you can look at the cost of the actual set, which can go for anywhere between $400 to $700 for just that one set, but it is what it is. It is this exclusive color of carhood, completely ordinary piece. You would not have expected this to be so rare unless you were at Comic-Con in 2015 and got that exclusive set. Sometimes it is how it is. But finally, let's move on to number 1, because this next piece is very strange, and I'm very glad it's number 1 because it's something that folks might not even realize. But this piece did come in a technically retail exclusive set. It was exclusive to Japan, but it was available for the general public to buy. And that is Tail 4x1x3 in orange. Now, at first glance, you might be wondering, what is the deal with this piece? Why is this so expensive for just a standard airplane tail? And well, the answer is, well, this came in set number 21100, Shinkai 6500 Submarine, which came out as part of LEGO Ideas, called LEGO Kuso back in the day in 2011. This was part of one of the first LEGO Ideas sets ever, and because of that, it had an extremely limited run only in Japan. If you want to get this incredible single LEGO piece, be prepared to shell out $250 to $350 US for this one tail fin, because it only came in that one submarine set. Could LEGO have recolored it anytime, and could they still recolor it in the future? If you're watching this video next year or years in the future, for all we know, LEGO may have made this piece no longer exclusive and helped fix the market value for this, but as of right now, this piece is exclusive to that first LEGO Idea set, which is why it lands a spot on this list as the single most expensive LEGO piece that was available at standard retail and wasn't something one-off like a minifigure or a Bionicle mask or collectible. Obviously, $350 is barely scratching the surface of some of the rarest LEGO pieces out there. I previously showcased some Bionicle masks in my collection that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. I actually own a Bionicle mask worth $3,000 and even more than that. Obviously, there's the exclusive T-Rex, which is worth like $10,000 right now, and that's a few different pieces. And of course, there's like the glow-in-the-dark squid and the octopus that's worth around $100. But by excluding animals, minifigures, and pieces designed to be collectible like Bionicle masks, I felt like that just made this piece and this listings so much more interesting. I feel like it would have been really boring for me to go down a list of the rarest LEGO pieces and it would be like, I don't know, Mr. Gold's hat, Mr. Gold's head, Mr. Gold's torso, the exclusive T-Rex body, the exclusive T-Rex lower jaw, and then like 20 Bionicle masks. You know, I feel like that's not that interesting. So that's why I decided to change around the list to make it be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting in the way it's presented. I hope that you enjoyed going through this countdown, and thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you own any of these pieces in your collection. And so, excluding minifigure components, Bionicle masks, and animals, those were the top 10 rarest Lego pieces to ever exist on the aftermarket. Again, really surprising, a lot of the ones that were included on the list. But let me know down in the comments, what do you think of these? Do you have any of these pieces yourselves, or did you even realize that some of them were this rare? It was a ton of fun putting this together. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more Lego news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. And bye for now.